The year was 1947. Europe was still recovering from the ravages of World War II, and weather conditions had produced one of the worst harvests in memory. Famine, shortages, and rationing were very serious concerns. American newspaper columnist Drew Pearson had an idea, and that idea turned into the American Friendship Train. On one of his trips to Europe, Andrew Russell Drew Pearson, an American journalist, noticed not only the conditions on the ground, but also the mistrust many Europeans now had for foreign governments. He also saw the Russians selling grains and foodstuffs to the Europeans and using them as propaganda tools to try to further communism in Europe. He decided an American response would need to be private, to be from the citizens and not from the federal government. This idea developed into a column that he wrote on October 11, 1947, in his regular syndicated column, The Washington Merry-Go-Round. In this column, he proposed an American Friendship Train. Pearson recruited Harry Warner, the president of Warner Brothers Studios, to serve as chairman of an organizing committee for the Friendship Train. He received commitments from major railroads, labor unions, and civic organizations to provide free transportation and skilled labor for the events. The train set out from Los Angeles on November 7th.
A goodwill project gets a flying start as school children in Hollywood load packages aboard trucks bound for the Friendship Train. The train, carrying gifts of food for starving Europeans, gets a send-off with a typical Hollywood premiere on the first leg of its trip across the continent. The motion picture industry is giving generously, as are thousands young and old who wish to aid our friends abroad who face either untold suffering or communist control.
When the train reached Chicago, it was split into 3 separate trains, allowing it to pick up donations along multiple routes. By the time the 3 trains arrived in New York on November 18th, they were pulling more than 240 cars of food. A second train made a southern route, ending up in Philadelphia on November 29th with an additional 200 cars.
It's a green light and a clear track for the Friendship Train as it rolls across the salt flats of Utah and roars over the endless trestles spanning Great Salt Lake. Mile after mile over America's Great West speeds the train that is our personal answer as a nation to the hungry of Europe.
Donations of food, medicine, and clothing continued to roll in. All 48 states, the District of Columbia, and even Hawaii participated. By the end of the endeavor, a total of about 700 railroad cars full of supplies worth a total of $40 million in 1947 dollars were donated to the effort to be sent to Europe to help with the problems there. The train also pulled several coaches of French dignitaries to witness the historic event.
Ceremonies at Independence Hall, the cradle of liberty in Philadelphia, welcome a section of the Friendship Train carrying America's gift of food for a hungry France and Italy. From the cars, the goodwill gift is transferred to a ship, and on the dock, Drew Pearson and Mayor Samuel of Philadelphia see Mrs. Pearson name the United States line vessel the Friendship.
To transport the supplies to Europe, the U.S. shipping companies donated the use of 4 large cargo ships. The United States Line Shipping Company's American leader was even rechristened the Friendship for the voyage. In December of 1947, ships arrived in France and Italy. The rest of the supplies were delivered to Europe by early January.
The first of 3 freighters carrying 5,000 tons of Friendship food from America arrives in Naples. The vast welcoming crowd includes top United States and Italian officials. But the real welcome in Italy is an unofficial one, just as the impetus behind the train in America was unofficial from the hearts of the people.
French railway worker and World War II veteran André Picard had the idea to send a thank you to the United States in gratitude for the Friendship Train. This effort culminated on February 2nd, 1949, when the French freighter SS Magellan pulled into New York Harbor carrying a load of 49 boxcars that would then become known as the Merci train.
The supplies carried by the American Friendship Train helped Europe survive the winter of 47-48 and helped them hang on until the American government's Marshall Plan was able to be put in full effect and started delivering supplies of its own later in 1948. While all of Europe was no doubt grateful, none showed it more than America's oldest ally, France. The French sent a train of their own back to the United States, referred to as the Train of French Gratitude for the American people, sometimes shortened to the Gratitude Train. Over time, in this country, it's grown to be known as the Merci train. The train consisted of 49 lovingly restored 40-8 boxcars, which had been used by the French military in both World Wars. These cars from the 1880s were called 40-8 because they could haul 40 soldiers or 8 horses. The train consisted of one car each for the 48 American states and a car for the District of Columbia and Hawaii. Surprisingly, although the Merci boxcars arrived in this country clear back in 1949, of the 49 original cars, 43 were known to still be in existence. 2 were destroyed by fire over the years, 2 were deliberately scrapped, and 2 were listed as missing. But in 2024, a boxcar found in a warehouse in Missouri was identified definitively as the New Jersey car, which now has been restored and put on display in the great state of New Jersey. Various American civic groups and historic groups have helped to preserve this train over the years, probably the most significant being the American Legion, which began its involvement with the Merci train clear back in 1949, setting up its arrival at the various states. In more recent times, the Elks Club actually featured the train in an October 2024 article in their magazine. And states throughout the Union have over the years voted money and time to preserving their Merci boxcars.
What about the West Virginia car? Well, recently we caught up with Jennifer Justice of the McDowell County CVB and found out where our Merci boxcar can be seen.
Today we're fortunate enough to be able to speak with Jennifer Justice, who's with the McDowell County, West Virginia Convention and Visitors Bureau. Jennifer, your county are the caretakers of West Virginia's Merci boxcar. Could you tell us a little bit about how the county arrived at owning the boxcar and where people can come and see it?
Yes. The boxcar is actually located at the Patriot Park here in Welch, West Virginia. We acquired the boxcar, I think it was in 1996. It was in a field in Charleston, and it was brought back here to McDowell County, where our Career and Technical Center restored the boxcar and then made its home here where it is currently located.
There are other artifacts and sites in McDowell County that rail fans would be interested in. Would you explain a few of those to us?
Yes, absolutely. We actually just published our new visitor's guide this year, and we have a train trail in our visitor's guide where you can visit the boxcar, multiple cabooses throughout the county. There is also an engine, and we also have Wilmore Dam that was built and constructed to fill the steam engines for the rail industry. So we are also in the process of constructing a train watching tower at one of the tunnels in Kimball, West Virginia, so that people can climb the tower and watch the trains come out of the tunnel. Many people stop there and video and photograph the trains coming out of the tunnels.
With all of the excitement, public interest, and media coverage that the American Friendship Train received, you would think that kids would want to have their own American Friendship Train. And they did. Companies like Lionel, MTH, and several of the smaller gauge manufacturers have made Friendship Train boxcars. However, all of those products have been made since 2000 and are aimed at adult collectors. We've only found one toy company that actually made a Friendship Train back when the events were actually happening. And that was Louis Marx with his floor train, the All-American Friendship Train.
Always one with a keen eye to pop culture, Toy King Louis Marx was very aware of the American Friendship Train and was the only toy manufacturer in the 47-48 time frame who put out a commemorative item based on the train. A Lumar Lines floor train consisting of a red engine, a white gondola, and a blue gondola decorated with All-American Friendship Train decals was put out and sold, although no known advertising exists. More likely than not, Marx's sales staff at their 205th Avenue, New York offices made phone calls to promote this item.
So once again, our friend, the Toy King, Louis Marx, produced not only a beloved toy for a generation of children, but a sought-after collectible for collectors of today.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Kruger Street Stories. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, press our circular logo on this page to subscribe, and click on the thumbnail to watch this next episode we know you'll also enjoy.